Yeah.
So guys, what I'd like to do right now is I would like to bring out you guys as a panel for anyone who's listening right now, whether you're listening on Facebook or YouTube. If you're not in a private session right now in session, or if you do have a private appointment, please go honor that, just take advantage of the opportunity. But I'd like to open it up for you guys because a lot of things have come up tonight, which I keep hearing about self. Self. So I'd like to really take a moment to honor what does the word self mean to you, and how does it affect you, and how do you want people to honor that word in their life? So I'd like to start with Robert. And we're going to do a little open panel. It's basically the same question. We're going to, I want to hear what you guys got to offer based on that first question.
Are we going in any kind of order, or are we just chiming in?
You're going to go first.
Okay, self-love. It's a simple idea that there's only one self. There's not separate selves. And any idea that you think is separate self is not true. There's only the one self, the truth that we are a one being, the same existence. And the master that you practice all the time is I never treat anybody any differently than I treat my own self. It's pretty simple. Love one another and love yourself as your true self.
I like it.
Okay. Anyone want to tap into that? Who wants to tap into that? Laura?
So, I do a lot of self-help work. And one of the things that I do is kind of focus on, so if we find ourselves focusing on other people, just in general, other people, if we're worried about what other people think about us and we're trying to please other people, we're not focusing on ourselves. And we have to put ourselves on our own pedestal and kind of focus on me for once, myself. So self-worth and self care are big things. Any word that has self in it, even selfish, it's okay to be selfish sometimes, especially if you're trying to work on yourself. So any word that has self in it, look, I'm trying to fix my necklace. Any words that have self in them, when you're focusing on other people, try to turn it around and recognize and be vigilant when we're focusing on others and what they think, and then start focusing on what we think. And I'm also brought again to say, wake up every day and impress yourself.
Go ahead. Beautiful. Julian here in the room.
He left.
Okay. Then how about you, Joe?
Nope, there he is.
Well, let's go for you, Joe. Go for it. Talk. And that word self. That's everything in your whole everything. Go for it.
I'm 100% behind self-care, self-esteem, self-responsibility. That's one of the biggies right there, is personal responsibility for everything. Giving up right and wrong, giving up good and bad, and then integrity, self-integrity, become your own best friend, to where you can be alone, but you're not lonely. When you reach that point, you've got your sovereignty back, and you can speak up for yourself. Other people's opinions don't matter. So it's like, that's where freedom starts. And now I'm all about freedom and having fun, as you know. So I'm on board 100%.
Your motto is?
I'm here to help you, help yourself, help your body heal itself naturally. So again, it's all about self. Right. It's not and selfish. I remember you said selfish. It's like, when you really think about it, if somebody else wants you to do something for them, they're the selfish ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
it becomes selfless. Selfless is our goal, to be selfless. Right.
There's selfless too. Yeah.
Right.
Selfless.
Right.
So yeah, we're all in this together, but we're all individuals, and we have to stand guard at our own gates to take care of us first, then we can be there for everybody else, But it's like, put your mask on first before you help anybody else. So that really says it pretty clearly. So thank you for that presentation.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Julian.
Well, what's interesting is that let's take it to another level, which is numerology. And the first letter is an S, which is the foundation letter of self. And the S, if you look at the S, it is the 19th letter of the alphabet. So the 19 is known as the Alpha and the Omega. In Hebrew, it's Shin, which is the creation of fire. So right away you have fire, Alpha, Omega, and the S is that of the snake. It's the Kundalini energy. It's always seeking wisdom. It's the sacred fire. On top of that, it's very creative, this S, because it sets its sight very high, very high. They're leaders, and also they're here to understand how to be individuals. They're extremely emotional. And at the same time, also, you have two C's in that S. And the two C's is physical, material, as well as the mental and the spiritual. So they have a lot of insight just from the S energy. So self, and I just did the numerology, SELF, 1536. It's a 15-6, which is out of the romantic, which is out of the heart. And the heart beats twice. So it's very important that one loves themselves and you love yourself, and for you to also love others, the reciprocation of the heart that beats twice. It gives and it receives. You're loving yourself, you're loving others. You love others, you love yourself. Very, very important with that 6 energy, which is of service. So as you are of service, you are the teacher, teaching other people to beautify themselves, for them to feel their hearts, for them to open up their hearts. So it's all about you allowing people to be who they are, but when they come across you, you are there to plant seeds in them, opening up your heart. As you're opening up your heart, and you also figuring out as that S, okay, how am I going to plant the seeds to do this? As you reach up on high, you ask and you do it. All right.
Okay. That's it.
I can go on for another hour, but I think that's it right now.
Okay. So everybody got the numbers for SELF. Wow. Who would ever think about that?
Well, what's interesting is that another thing is the fact that words have even a deeper meaning to them. So if letter corresponds to numbers, those numbers have their own experience, their own language. When you take the word, it's like you take your name. So now you're taking a word and you're finding the in-depth soul's destiny, the meaning of that word. And I love doing that.
Well, we know you love doing that. You're so
and we can do that also. It's just knowing the basics. That's all.
So what basics do we need to know?
1 through 9, just the energies of 1 through 9, and then you just add the letters to the numbers, and then and what's interesting is that the numbers talk to you. They're stepping stones. They have consciousness.
So what comes first, the numbers or the letters?
Well, the numbers have a consciousness. The letters, that's a whole different story, because the letters have their own, it's like their own history. It goes back to the Hebrews and the Egyptians and the Greeks and stuff like that. But the numbers have basic energy. So once you know the basics, all of a sudden those energies start talking to you.
Mm. So they have different algorithms. There was no, communication between the numbers and letters, basically. Almost. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they have the letters correspond to the numbers, but the letter themselves have their own energies. Like the ones are A, J, and S's. So each letter has its own experience of the one. The A is the first letter of the alphabet. The J is the 10. 1 and 0 is 1. And then the S, which we just spoke about, is the 19th letter. 1 and 9 is 10, 1. They're all ones, but they're different dimensions of that one.
So is it 1 through 10? Is that the numbers? 1
through 9.
1 through 9. Okay, got it.
1 through 9. And then it goes back to 10, which is 1. That's Pythagorean numerology. Yeah. So
as long as we get the concrete information from 1 through 9, every alphabet letter goes through 1 through 9, basically, right?
Exactly.
Oh, exactly. Cool. Interesting. Yeah. Well, damn, let me know when you teach a class, because, every time I talk to you, you really bring me, you really floor me of, but when I see people's names and I said, oh my God, you got to talk to Julian, look at all these consonants, look at all these vowels, look at all this and ups and downs in people's lives.
See, now you're seeing the form, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing the form. It's like the W. The W is like this, right?
The W, the M's, the A's, the V's, the M's
are opposite. The M's are like this, right? Yeah. So you just go, wow, okay, look at this. So if I was that dance, if I was that letter, what would I be feeling? What would I be experiencing? Wow, I'm experiencing a flow. What kind of flow am I experiencing? Wow, I'm going up, I'm going down. I'm going up and I'm going down. So how's that feel going up and down? Am I comfortable going up and down?
Not usually.
Or
not usually a good experience. And that kind of, to me, shows me their lives of turmoil almost, Well,
and that's also a challenge, because it's not all Candyland. It's not all fairy tales and all of this good stuff going on. The numbers challenge you.
Yeah.
The 19 of S, it's also, it's one of the most karmic, it's the most powerful karmic vibration. So here you have self, and you're being challenged in regards to, it's called misuse and abuse of power in this life and other lives. So here you are with self, and you can also be a happy dictator. Right? From the self. So it's not like, wow, I'm of the self, I'm all this love. No, you're going to be challenged by the S. You're going to be challenged by the E, the L, the F. So you better have it together, because those energies are there, and it's also you living in a duality. But how are you going to function in that? So it's a beautiful composition that our name and birthday.
It's a little secret song. Angela, why don't you share with us what self means to you?
I don't know. I mean, I think that we should learn to love ourselves, but I think a lot of times we cannot forgive ourselves, and we have a hard time of forgiving others. So that's why we have a hard time for self-love and, in loving. I feel like if you can forgive your enemies and love them, I think that's a good way to be. And I think that that's what we should strive to be. I mean, it's love. I feel like self means love, and just love. And, I think it says in the Bible that the most powerful thing you can do is love.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
I was called to, is it okay if I talk? I don't know. I was called to look up words that begin with self. Can I read them?
Mm-hmm.
So self-inflicted, self-imposed, self-addressed, self-employed, self-taught, self-appointed, self-assured, self-conceited, self-made, self-motivated, self-obsessed, self-opinionated, self-composed. So those are some. I've got more. Self-assurance, self-criticism, self-defense, self-determination, self-employment again comes up, self-esteem, self-examination. That's a big one. We all examine what we're doing and ourselves. Self-image, self-governing, self-justification, self-love, self-narrative, self-obsession, and self-punishment. And I think with self-punishment, the only way out of that is to focus on yourself. Like, really. Because self-punishment can manifest as helping others that aren't ready to help themselves. I know I have some friends that were addicts and they couldn't. As much as I tried and much as I wanted to help them, they weren't able to. And was my helping them for me, or was it actually for them? And in that case, it was for me to feel better about myself, helping others. But I had motives to help others because it made me feel good about myself. So focusing on yourself instead of focusing on others, because work I put in to helping them be sober and helping them come out of suicidal tendencies, the only thing that it did for me was make me feel hopeless and worth less when I needed to feel self-worth. So the key word to focus on yourself is self. All right.
Boom. SELF. I want to hear from the other Angela, the Angela Lopez. Why don't you tell us your input is?
Well, I think that self-worth is right now what is pounding like big time. Self-worth and self-confidence. We need to own it. That's what is getting to me. We need to connect with ourselves. We need to basically scream, jump, laugh, dance, be ourselves. That's what is coming to me. So I'm really happy. Like today was slower, but it was extremely powerful. A lot of amazing, amazing connections. You see that, Laura? Yes. It was a slower pace, but it was really, really neat. It was like we were coming to ourselves, and I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for always allowing me to be here and be surrounded by these amazing beings. We are from all over the galaxy, all over the world, and I love it. I really, really appreciate you having me. And my dog is saying the same.
This is a dog with some physical issues, right?
Yeah, she has to have surgery on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good to hear him. Good to hear him barking. He's doing good. Sounds strong.
She's going crazy. She's been walking in 3 legs for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I've actually had dogs with 3 legs in my life.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. Self-love.
My hedgehog has 3 legs.
What?
Yeah, my daughter brought her home from the vet. They told us she had cancer, so they had to take her paw, and then they had to do surgery to take her whole leg. And now she's got cancer again. And my daughter said, "There's nothing wrong with her except the tumor, and so she's not in any pain. So I don't want to put her down, and I don't want her to go for surgery." So we brought her home, and she's my daughter's hospice hedgehog until she passes away on her own. And ever.
A hedgehog, did she say?
A hedgehog. And she's the most docile hedgehog. My daughter holds she knows when the hedgehog has to eat, and the hedgehog is completely paralyzed. Can't move except, legs down, bottom half end. And the other one, she's just got one paw up here that she can move. But My daughter feeds her. She knows when she's hungry. She knows when she's thirsty. And she knows when she has to go to the bathroom, and she holds her hedgehog over the potty. Like,
Wow.
you ever seen the movie Lion King where they're holding up Simba? That's how she holds her over the potty to go.
Wow.
It's the funniest thing. But I mean, we expected her to live 1 week. It's been 18 weeks. She's still alive.
Wow.
Doing really good.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Love.
That's beautiful. So we all just give what we need to give. Like 2 weeks ago, I didn't think Shay would be here. And when he pops up on my screen and lays down, you know, I don't push him away anymore. You know, when your little baby just wants to lay down and get some attention, and we got to listen to their moans and groans and their aches and pains, you know, everybody got their body talking to them. And honestly, I think our body's talking to us more than ever. And I'd like to ask you guys about your body talking to you right now. Because I think sometimes as healers and leaders and vibrational people, we tend to ignore our own stuff. And can you honor what may be happening with you, and what can you share with others in order to say, don't do what I did? Okay. I don't want, don't walk in my shoes. Basically, hey, what can you do better or different? Like, we're all in little pain. You know, why do my knees crack when I go down the stairs? Or why does my stomach hurt every day? You know, so can you share some guidance of maybe you're in pain in some capacity in your life that maybe you can help others go to another level? Who's willing to share? Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Angela Lopez.
So there is something that we all have, and it's perception, not only intuition. And we get to perceive when something is wrong, and sometimes we just don't pay enough attention. And it could be a tiny little sign, or maybe a dream, or maybe a deja vu, and then we kind of dismiss it. So my advice from personal experience is listen to all those signs, because all of them are important. The messages about everything regarding you, your ethereal body, your physical body, and your soul are always telling you what is going to happen, and we just don't pay enough attention. So that is my advice. Just listen to yourself. Again, self. So just listen, open your ears and open your intuition, because you have to be receptive and perceptive. That is what I can tell you from personal experience.
I'm asking you guys this because I have a really close friend of mine, and her body's kind of shutting down in a way, and she's not going to the hospital about it. You know, she's not able to grip. She's losing her balance. She can't tie her shoes, and she can't bend over. And she's not doing anything about it. She's a healer. Okay. So if she's listening right now, I don't want you to ignore yourself. I want you guys to kind of talk to her. Don't ignore the symptoms of your body. When your body's starting to shut down in some kind of way, what's going on? When you can't grip, you can't hold on, you know, what's going on with your body? She's young. She's my age. She's middle age. Okay, guys, this is like what I'm talking about.
So I would definitely advise her to, if she's watching or if she hasn't watched it yet, my inner child awareness activation that I did earlier. I mentioned that sometimes we end up with symptoms because of our infant inner child, symptoms that make us unable to move. And that's literally because when we were a baby, we couldn't ask for help except to cry. Now we're an adult, we can ask for help or receive help. But I think one of the major things with that is recognizing that it can be fear of what's to come, what's to moving forward, fear of the future.
Halt.
But okay. Fear manifests things to be afraid of.
Fear is I said, what happened before this happened? What happened before this happened? What happened before this happened? She brought her daughter to get her prom dress.
Okay.
The next day, she wakes up with a backache and ends up at the chiropractor, can't even get out of bed. A week later, she can't even move her arms and legs. Okay. So something is probably going on with losing her daughter, moving forward, the prom dress situation. This is like loss of, is kind of what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
What triggered? Bam, bam, bam. Like, what did all this doesn't happen in 1 week, Right?
So those right? Well, most 75 to 80% of people's physical problems are based on stuck emotions.
Yeah, manifesting them for yourself.
Manifesting physically.
Yeah.
And to manifest to that degree, it would have to be a pretty serious emotional trauma that she may or may not remember.
Yeah, fear manifests things to be afraid of, and that's huge because, anxiety manifests things to be anxious about, and greed manifests things to feel greedy about. Like it's just, it all kind of rolls together. But I feel intuitively that there was some inner child trauma because the body will take you down. I mean, I'm a perfect example. 40 years old, and I have come 2018, I had 16 bulging discs, 11 desiccated discs, 5 torn discs. Why? It was because my inner child was like, I don't want to do what you want to do, lady. So you're going to stay your ass in bed because I'm not willing to do the things that you want to do. I'm afraid to put myself out there. I had people that have threatened me in my past. I've been stalked as just a mother, not a celebrity, a mom. I was stalked on a horrific level, having my lug nuts loosened on my car so my tires would fall off 3 different cars. So I had a lot of fear going public as myself, as Laura Crow, going public and being a psychic medium and possibly become well known someday. There should be fear there, but I've worked through that fear. But let me tell you, I'm now seeing a surgeon on May 5th. I'm going to walk again, and I'm going to be running all around the world with whoever, doing all kinds of psychic medium stuff for the rest of my life. This is what I'm being called to do, work with people, be interviewed. But it was that just being laid out, like not able to move. That was my inner child doing that, afraid of what's going to happen if I put myself out there. So I'm wondering if it's her inner child, and it could be triggered by the prom dress thing. There may be some residual. And when I talk about inner child, I mean from this moment all the way back to birth. Any age from this moment all the way back to birth is an inner child. That's how I identify it.
Great. So hopefully she's listening right now, or maybe she's listening to the replay, or anybody else right now. So thank you for sharing, Laura. Appreciate it.
Just to review, she got the prom dress or not?
Yeah, she got the prom dress for $20.
And then after that, that's when everything started happening.
Yeah, that's when everything started happening.
So the question is that, did she ever have her own prom dress?
Yeah, bingo.
And also, what did she go through at prom, if she did have a prom or not a prom? So obviously,
right. The prom dress was Sunday. Monday, she wakes up, can't get out of bed. A week later, her body shuts down.
So
also, maybe get the prom dress, maybe sage cleanse the prom dress or spray it with some sage oil. You never know. There could be some attachments in that prom dress, and attachments. Yeah. You could do attachment clearing on her and see if she has any attachments.
But I feel it has to deal with her own self and the connection with when she was in the prom or not in the prom. And if she did, who did she go with to the prom? And what happened at the prom? So it's like a whole, what is that movie, Carrie, where all of a sudden the fire and all that brimstone and all that starts happening, and at this time right now in our lives, memory is very powerful. Self-talk is very powerful. And that can also easily destroy us because it's like, I'm back. and all of a sudden you haven't dealt with it for whatever reason. Now you have a daughter, and there's a whole thing going on there. And the next thing is that it's all, you know, and the fact that she also works with healing and she's a medium. So, you know, the enemy is very aware also of us and who we are, because it knows where we're going. We might not know where we're going, but that energy does, and it will do whatever it can, especially in 2021, being the five of the five senses, the five elements, and the body. 2021 is all about the body and your freedom, if you're free or not, and how you deal with it. So the energies understand and know on the other side, and they're going to do whatever they can to trip you up. And she's being tripped up on such a deep, deep level, where it's almost like a possession of some sort. It's like she's living that experience for whatever reason. That's my play on it.
You know, it's kind of interesting too. Her husband also took a dive. Her husband fell like a few days before that, and he almost broke his knee. So like he's wobbling, she's falling all over the place, and they're just kind of fucking falling apart right now.
And the only support is the daughter, and the daughter is happy with her prom dress.
She's leaving with her prom dress. So God, everybody's popping back into the main room. Okay, beautiful. So coming up next will be our beautiful El Sarah at 9:30. So apparently that we closed the room, and Hayden is going to be in the playroom at 9:30. But I'd love Hayden to talk right now and share with the group, and that way anybody can follow him into the playroom and before the guest speaker musician comes out. Hayden, please talk to us for a little bit.
Yeah, hi guys. How is everyone?
Great.
Still in the land of the living. I thought I would just share a little bit about what I'm going to be doing in the playroom today. So I'm kind of going to bring in the color therapy system that I work with, the color mirrors, and your dates of birth as well. So I'm going to be doing some live color numerology sessions. Okay, so from that I can work out exactly what's going on for you across the three planes of existence: mental, emotional, and physical. I can find out your starry origins as well, which is it's included within your numerology, but to gain a broader insight, you have to look at the numerology and the position of the sun at the time you were born as well. And that's whether, you know, your soul has come in from Andromeda, like me, Arcturus, or the Pleiades, or Orion, or Lyra, or Sirius. So, you know, it can come in from numerous different places. And the positioning of your numbers on your birth chart in Pythagorean numerology and the color influences that you get through the color mirrors will reveal things about your strengths and weaknesses, the best times for you to embark on new projects and ventures, your soul purpose and mission, and it can indicate as well, you know, where your soul came in from as well. So it's going to be quite interactive. We're going to be looking at doing these readings in very much a dynamic fashion. So you'll need to leave your dates of birth in the comments section, and from there I will work it all out on my whiteboard. So it's very straightforward, and should give you some things that you don't know about yourself already.
Sounds fun.
Hey, Hayden.
Hey.
I just have a quick question. I can't leave my date of birth in the comments or in the chat because my daughter's a physical medium electromag, and when she came in, my keys stopped working. So
oh wow, really? Okay, so you can basically just give us your date of birth, verbalize it. That's fine.
Well, when it's my turn, January 19th, 1981.
Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. I won't remember that. I do so many of these that, you know, it's like it would be like me trying to remember what I had for dinner back in 1984.
Okay. Well, I would love a reading if you're.
Yeah, great. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's no problem at all. These are just free insights for you guys, just to wet your whistle. because yeah, it's just nice to be able to give something back, isn't it? You know, and offer you something that's going to reveal some, you know, some hidden secrets about, you know, what you're actually here for.
Yeah, I'd love it. So January 19th, 1981.
I don't think I'm doing it here, am I?
Are you doing it here? Oh, okay.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
not?
no.
I thought you were doing an example.
Oh, am I doing an example for you? Okay, I can do an example for you here. All right, okay, cool. Let's do that then. All right then. So Laura, give us your date of birth again then.
January 19th, 1981.
So January the 19th, 1981, yeah?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ones and 8 and 2 9s. Okay, so you've got an interesting chart there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I might have to, what I'll do is I'll turn the brightness down on my camera because I think it's just a bit glary, isn't it?
Okay.
There you go. You should be able to see that, okay? You see that, all right?
Yep.
There you go. Brilliant.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, so the form of numerology that I work with is actually Pythagorean, but I blend it with color to gain extra insights. So we can see here that the first influence is you've got these two what are called negative arrows within your birth chart. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you are a negative person, Laura. It just means to say that, you know, you've got these influences within your birth chart, which actually could be resolved with some personal development. The first one that you've got here is called the arrow of frustration. So this is difficulties during childhood. So it could have been that your mum and dad separated, or that there was sibling rivalry or ill health, or just feeling like you didn't fit in on some level.
All of it.
All of the above. Yeah.
All of the above.
It is quite a frustrating one. You know, that's why it's called the arrow of frustration, I guess, you know, and it's like, it can also knock on into adult relationships as well. So it could be that, for example, you know, that you have difficulties within, you know, your partnerships and stuff as well. So it can also go into that. The other arrow that you've got here is called the arrow of the inquirer. Now that is the lack of the 3, 5, and 7, which means that you've got a bit of an inquiring mind. You can be a bit skeptical of anything that, you know, that can't be scientifically proven until you get your own proof, and then you become like an avid convert. But you have to go through that kind of process yourself. So, you know, you're not like, you don't suffer fools, but you will, you know, eventually get there in the end. It's more difficult for you to kind of accept woo-woo concepts, I think, you know, until you've been through that process. Now, this is an interesting aspect of your chart as well, which is the 4 wands, which is your masculine. 1 is masculine, 2 is feminine. And when you've got 4, it's excessive amounts of 1 energy. So it means you can isolate yourself and be a bit of a hermit sometimes, because it's almost like the masculine is isolated. So it can cause problems in verbal communication skills as well. So it could be that because you don't know how you feel, sometimes it means that you can react to emotional situations, because there's no 5 in the chart, which is the center of your emotional plane. The 2 9s is this desire that you've got to want to be of service to people, to help and to heal, you know, to want to be a counselor, to be able to want to, you know, be the humanitarian. But it's also, 9 is related to Mars energy, which is fire. So you've got to make sure that you do and say what needs doing and saying, instead of being meek and mild and getting angry and frustrated. So it's almost like if you kind of go away from a conversation thinking, oh, I wish I'd said that, that can cause a few problems. Okay, so you are very ambitious as well. You're also very independent, organized, and you like to be in control because you've got the influence of the 8, and the 8 is all about that. 8s are very, you know, have a nurturing side. They're quite process driven, but there is this desire, you know, for you to be quite independent in your life anyway. Now, you are a leader because your day number influence is the 19, and the 19 reduces to a 10, and the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, actually, within the color mirror system. So here is the bottle influence, and it's a beautiful gold over olive green. And so this is a very soft feminine energy that can never be abused. So it's not like an ego-based masculine influence of the leader. It's more the soft feminine archetype, but it means that you can, you know, you can have your own business. It means you're very adaptable. You can actually put yourself into any environment, in any job, and you do really well. It also means that you like to keep a little bit of few of your relationships quite superficial, because you don't really want people knowing what's going on for you emotionally. But there's this adaptability, and the manifestor really, because the Wheel of Fortune in traditional tarot, as it is in the color mirrors, is your ability to be able to kind of turn base metal into gold. You know, it's very much an ancient Egyptian color combination, the green and the gold together, because, you know, if you think about the green and gold, it relates to Isis, the goddess that gave birth to the sun. You know, so she was the wife of Osiris, the king of the underworld, and she was the mother of Horus. So you've got these beautiful qualities to be able to, you know, to sort of be a leader, but a soft feminine leader with this almost like ancient Egyptian soul knowledge. Now, your ruling number carries the biggest influence within your chart, and that's 9, 10, 18, 19, 20, 29, 30. So you're ruling number 3. And the 3 in the color mirrors system is Jupiter, which is coral over coral. Now, this is all about expansion, because Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, so it wants to grow, but often it has to go through self-acceptance. So it's transcending the role of the martyr. It's you're more inspired by lyrics, poetry, music, you know, social community-based projects. You know, you like being the life and soul of the party, but then when you're living negatively, you can be a bit judgmental or critical, or have low self-esteem or self-doubt. You might have to question your beliefs as you go through your lifetime as well, because it's like those, you know, can trip you up as well. So the 3 and the 10 become your sort of signature elements. And actually, you know, you have got the ability to attain Christ consciousness, where you mix unconditional love with authentic power and wisdom together. And, you know, really it's about, for you, I'd say that you know, you do really well if you went into writing or you know, sort of lyrics, or just having your own business where you can be quite creative, because you're more suited to the creative aspects of life than sciences.
Yep, I work with the inner child, and that's all about creativity.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, that would be. And it's interesting because, you know, this
and
is
the mother,
very much the mother.
Yeah, that's what you said, mother. And it's interesting that you said Christ consciousness, because I got an activation, and it Jesus had walked up to me and he said, you are my mother, or you are my grandmother, you are my mother, and you are me. And I was like, whoa. And then it hit me that my mother is me, and that I am my mother, and my grandfather is my stepfather. Is like, we're all the same. We're living each other's life. We're living the same life, but multiple people, multiple like spirits in this life, but we're sharing the same soul. It's very interesting.
Exactly.
With
Yeah. Because
Saint Anne, Jesus, and Mary. So yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Sorry. Did you want to say something, Sheri?
I would like to bring on our next guest presenter.
Thank you, Hayden.
Yeah, sure.
And
Thank you.
And please follow him to his room right now. He's going to be in room number 1 to play in the playroom. So go follow him if you want to ask some Q&A and go through an experience. You have 30 minutes or more in your playroom, and we're going to bring on our last presenter, and she's going to be performing music.